you were wondering.
Oh, well.
Much prettier.
Thank you. So we're going to hear, our intention is to have, why did you guys come today? Tell me.
See you.
You didn't even know I was doing this. So everybody got out of bed this morning, you came, you want to get a nugget that helps you in your business or in your personal life, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Is that a pun? A nugget? Is that a
A
pun?
nugget, yes. Thank you, Susan. So I like to start out like the way I do it. They do at Orange Theory. I don't do it, but I do try to take the class. And they say, is there anybody new to Orange Theory? Is there anybody new to Keller Williams here today that needs to be introduced? Please raise your hand. Any new agents? New to KW?
We have a new vendor in the back.
We do, new vendor? Please stand up. Raise your hand. Tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Lauren Beeler. I own Blue Moon Estate Sales, and I'm sponsoring next week's
Yay.
meeting. So I came to get a little sneak peek into the
Welcome.
activities.
Well, this will be way better than next week. Thanks for coming. Anybody new that doesn't know me? Anybody? You all know me. I've been here forever. I helped start the company, so 34 years in residential real estate, and I just started learning stuff last year. So this is really a big aha for me.
She still doesn't know her dog food.
Oh, shut up. Dot Loop, what is that? Isn't that going away? See, I knew there was no reason to learn that.
All these years, we knew it was coming.
If we knew it was coming one day, we didn't have to learn it. So one thing I will talk about today is leverage. So I'm going to get to that in a minute. But Brad and I kind of talked about, I was going to tell you about a wonderful class that I attended, and then I found out that that class is coming to us. So I'm not going to teach it today. It is about your calendar. And I found it very, very, very impactful. And so you really do not want to miss it, and I don't want to mess up the message, so I'm going to let the expert do that. So Chad Himes is coming next Tuesday after team meeting, and he's, oops, don't do that yet. So he will be here, and he has a lot of wisdom about tying into the one thing and about your calendars, and then it's basically who's your boss. Your boss is your calendar, right? So he's gonna talk a lot about that, and I've already implemented some things that I learned when I took his brief class about that. So we're gonna move to buyer excellence. As most of you have heard me say before, I do a lot of corporate relocations. I tend to have a lot of buyers that are corporate relos. I also have sellers, but the buyers are, so who's the boss is gonna be kind of tied into this, because I feel like I have 50 bosses right now. Do you guys have about 50 people you're juggling, and your leads, and who you're thinking about, and who your listings are, and who your buyers are? I have 50 bosses. So, yeah, it's overwhelming. I can't remember. So, I just want to share with you, in case you haven't seen how I do things, and I really want to open it up and ask you how you do things, because if you could tell me how to do it better, that's what I want to learn. So I'm going to share with you my platform of how I work with my buyers, and then if you guys can chime in, I'll ask you, what do you do that is, different or way better than what I do? Because I kind of got a system, and I just stick to it because it's easier to do it than to invent a new one, right? Anybody like that? Mm-hmm. So for my system, I keep these books ready to go on the shelf. We have 5 at all times, 5 for buyers, 5 for sellers. So all I have to do is give this to the new buyer, and inside is their client profile sheet, their copy of the contract, right? And the disclosure, all the things that they might be reading. And I tell them, you don't have to fill this out. This is just for your information, because guess what? I'm going to send it to you electronically for signatures. Do you go over the whole contract electronically with them? Probably not. So this way they have this, which we can discuss in a written format, which I find still, okay, that's old school. All you young people are just going, you're going to do it on your phone, right? Okay, I agree. My phone's not that easy to read.
Not really.
Especially these days.
Especially these days, and I don't wear glasses, so it's even harder. Oh, we have music.
Nice.
Nice.
$5.
So in here is just a little package of my giveaway goodies that I keep. There's the pen, pads, Kleenex for crying, whatever. So whatever's in here. Then I go ahead and I have this little page, and behind it will be all the printouts of what we're going to go see that day or even the following day. So most of the time with corporate reloads, I'm showing probably easily 8 to 10 houses, right, in one tour. And I adhere to the theory that until they drop dead, you just keep them in your car and you keep going. You know, so I have protein bars and water in the car. If they don't scream uncle, we don't stop.
How about bathroom breaks?
A bathroom, well, that's at the house.
Yeah.
And that's a note, keep extra toilet paper in your car.
I've not done that.
Oh,
Virginia.
also a note, your bathrooms in your listings, I'm sorry, but for those of you who say don't use the bathrooms or don't have soap, I mean, nice soap and hand towels
Thank you.
gives people a positive experience about the house.
Yes.
Because realistically, you're not stopping at a gas station.
No,
I mean, that would
that's
be
horrible. That's horrible. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go there, so, you know.
I mean, make your home inviting, because the fact is, you're going to use the bathroom.
Yeah,
And you want to be
sometimes
comfortable.
sometimes they have kids.
You
know, so-
wouldn't go where to a gas station? You probably don't even pump your own gas.
I do. I do pump my own gas, yes.
Really?
Get out of my way, I'm pumping my own gas. They don't know what I'm doing here. Are you kidding? I'm shopping for the best rate. Yes. I love gas. Costco, right? So I'm showing you that they get all of that, and then I just have a couple little, cheat sheets. Here's what's next. I don't know how many people read this, but you can always reference back to it. Did you read, what I gave you, right? And then it's not on me necessarily that if they didn't. And then this is just about me. Of course, everything's about me. I thought we said that already. So I just put, that I've been here forever. Why Keller Williams? I love to say this because a lot of people don't know we're the #1 company. How many people that you work with do they know that we're the #1 company? I put the stats in here that shows we're #1 because what are we doing here? We're building credibility. You don't necessarily know, well, maybe if you have a friend you're showing property to, that's fine, but do they know what your business is? They may not. So just putting all of these things, and I do go ahead and put the other companies in here because this is from the Business Chronicle. This is not from FMLA. And I talk about global Keller Williams. So that's what I have done. The other thing is I'll take like an envelope and put all the brochures in there about Atlanta, about the walkability, about parks, about Silver Comet Trail, Stone Mountain, Six Flags. Where do I get all those brochures?
Sometimes Chamber of Commerce or the,
Chamber of Commerce.
sometimes they're
Marriott.
fortunate here.
Marriott.
Go to one of the rest stops.
Visitor centers. Sometimes we used to make a run and just go like Cobb, Roswell, go around to the visitor centers.
At the Galleria, they have a visitor center right before you walk into where we go to conferences and stuff. It's
Yeah.
got every city stuff right there.
Yeah, it has all the-
One-stop
all the
shopping.
Love that, guys.
And no magazines are great to include.
Yes, the No Magazine, the Atlanta Magazine, all of those things are really, really good for somebody coming to the city. Again, mine is a lot of corporate reload. So, and also don't assume, maybe you have somebody that lives in Midtown and they want to go out to Roswell. Do they know everything about Roswell? Probably not, but, so you could be the source. And because of corporate reload, I do know a lot of different areas. But if you don't feel expert in one area, just go and become an expert. That was what I did. I was like, I don't know anything about Kennesaw. Go over and drive around and find the downtown. That was fun to do.
Watch it.
I had a client literally have to do a Chamber of Commerce tour to help somebody get a job, or if they want to come to Atlanta. So I'm working for the corporation saying, will you do an introduction so he can see what things look like in Atlanta. They've never been here. So we did Ackworth, we did Kennesaw, we did Woodstock, we did, and I found my way, which was really scary.
Thank goodness.
The corporation is up 75, so they all have to live over there. So Diane's going to share something that she does, and I love it. I am not really expert in it. So I want you guys to see this, because if you're not using this tool, which is free, it is fantastic. And it can be for your local people. It doesn't have to be reloads or anything. It's just another way of taking care of your buyers and giving them the information. So this is the Cloud CMA program that's in FMLS. How many of you use it? Show of hands. Okay, like about a third.
Used it.
Okay.
Used it.
Have you used it before?
Yeah. But I mean, it's kind of clunky, but that's my opinion.
Where it used to be.
My opinion.
Well,
It's a little wonky.
Don't
It's
do it.
long.
It's long.
But you can email it.
Yeah.
You know, you can email it to them, so you don't have to print it out if you don't want to.
And you can personalize it, you know, you can take a lot of stuff out.
Yeah.
You can
Right.
put check.
Just gotta learn how to use it.
You just have to, you have to
keep
know
practicing.
not to send 400 pages, right? So if you how many of you have never seen this before? Right? Everybody seen it? Just didn't use it. Is it gonna go? Tell them what you.
There's actually two different tours on the Cloud CMA. There's buyer's tours and there's also a seller's packet. Seller's packet is more of a comparison. You know, they have information in there about how to look at other houses, you know, to set your value. But for the buyers, it's more of a, it kind of helps them kind of keep track of what houses they're looking at. If you're taking somebody out and they're seeing 9 or 11 houses, and by the end of the day, you don't even remember what they saw, much less them. So the Cloud CMA gives you an opportunity to keep them, top of mind as far as what they liked about certain houses.
They can make notes, either electronically or if you print it out, they can write it on.
So when I would take somebody out, there's actually 2 different ways you can do it. You can have a PDF that you can print it out and give it to them, which is what I did, because most of mine like to make notes on it. I mean, you can give them the 1 page out of the FMLS, and that's fine, but it doesn't have the pictures, and sometimes they have to remember, is that the one with the funky bathroom, or is that the one with the really great deck, or, they're kind of making notes, but, at the end of the day, their brains are fried. So, what I would do is I would give them a buyer tour, and it would tell them, here's where we're going, and here's the order that we're going to go see them in.
And the map is good too, see how that, I use that a lot, just because I need to see the perspective of one to the other. And when you do showing time and you go in the smart route, everybody does that. And another thing that while she's pulling this up too, I was gonna tell you is when I am showing property, I pull the FMLS buyer printout for them. I pull for myself a copy of the tax record, a copy of the listing history on FMLS. And if I'm not familiar with the neighborhood, I'll just do a quick CMA and put it in there, because they're going to ask you, well, is this high for the neighborhood or is this low? Oh my gosh, no, this is a really good deal, because I know all that.
So anyway, you got the buyer tour. You can put this in or leave it out, whatever you want to. Really old picture.
The picture?
This actually lists them, you can rearrange them in the order that you actually are showing them, so that they know, when you hop in the car, okay, we're going to number 6, we're going to Blackberry Run. And so they can kind of keep up with their GPS if they're not in the car with you.
It's very simple.
Listings, so there's several different ways you can present it. I was just presenting it this way because it had the most information on the page. This has almost all the information that can be on the FMLS sheet, so they can figure out square footage and things like that.
You are working at that course. You are working at
Oh,
that
yeah.
course.
You recognize that, right?
It's right around the corner.
I know, I love Ackworth.
And then
I love Ackworth, I love
You
Ackworth.
do love it. Dollars.
And then what I would do, you can choose how many pictures you're going to provide them. You can just provide them with 12 pictures. If it's just wanted kind of just the first page. With this particular client, we kind of went all the way on this because
$65.
High C people, high C people.
Now, keep in mind now, though, that, FMLS will now let you have 75 pictures. So, Georgia loves that now. I haven't gone there yet. But you can put 75 pictures, so you don't print out 75 pictures because you probably don't need 6 pictures of a empty bedroom. So just kind of be mindful of how many pictures you want to print out. So it was sometimes people put in floor plan, which is always kind of cool. But this was basically their handbook. I bind it, put it little spiral bound, and when I would start off, I hand the book and would start off. It was. I probably took these people out 12 times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot.
So some printing involved. And if you're not really into paper, if you want to save a few trees, there's actually one online that you can use. These particular clients ended up being people that I felt like weren't quite as technologically advanced as some others would be. You actually send it as a one that they could access on their telephone or their iPad or whatever. And they have little controls down here on the bottom where you have the house. You have Mortgage Balls Chase, for example, that was the name. You have information on the house, pictures,
So that's the online version.
and then they can just flip through, keep looking at the houses that way. And then you still have the same map with the addresses and stuff. So you can get two ways. You can send it to them ahead of time, via computer. You can send it to them, let them print it out. That seems kind of cheating to me, but that's just. But anyway, that was, those are two ways you could actually give them, something that, they actually can go back to their hotel room later and, kind of pour over and figure out, what they saw, what they remember, yes, no, take it out. So.
Katie?
I have a question. I love using the Cloud CMA too and doing the same thing you're talking about. Is there a way when you send a buyer tour to them are there any clickable links? It seems like
The
buyer tour is just the list of things, but I wish that they could click right to the house, like directly to the MLS listing or any info about it versus just the picture. Is there any way to do that?
There is. If you did it through FMLS without using this buyer CMA, if you have those properties, you've identified 10 houses you're touring and they're in your FMLS, if you click on them and you can email it to them from FMLS, that's going to be hyperlinked. Everything so they'll open up one email, those 10 properties will be in there, there'll be click-throughs for addressing, mapping, and all the pictures.
I just like I like all of the Cloud CMA. I like how professional it looks when you send it to people. It's so easy for us to do.
Well, how do you send the Cloud CMA?
When you do it, they'll provide a link with it. For example,
Can you put another link in there to address that situation?
What do you mean?
I don't think you
Every copy and paste a link onto the email that you're sending out here.
Right, absolutely. And you can go to this. You got your link up here. Just copy and paste it.
So, I mean, you could do what Sam is suggesting by copying and pasting.
Just add it to it. That makes
And
sense.
add it to it.
After you've produced one, it sends you the email that has all the properties listed in the order that you're going to be seeing them. And actually, I always use that on my phone as kind of my backup where I'm going, so I don't have to keep putting the addresses in. It's just right there. I click it and move on. So.
Well, that's smart. I'm always stopping and typing in the next address. Or I put it in my GPS and then just put previous. So do that. So one other quick question. How many of you guys use the cart feature on FMLS? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Who's using carts? Oh my gosh, I am so techno savvy. I didn't know it. Actually, I was taught by a good friend of mine, Jana, who said, "Are you not using carts? What kind of loser are you?" So go to.
That sounds like Jana.
That is Jana. Yeah, you're a loser. Is that me or is that you on that?
That's me.
Do you have carts?
No, I don't have any cards.
Okay, well. You don't do carts? Okay, guys, when you pull up your listings and it's for Joe and Mary, you just click. Can you go in as me? Thanks.
What's your password?
I don't know my password. It automatically locks you.